A couple of videos back, I happened to mention in passing that I have a job as a blacksmith. You guys sent me a few videos coupled with some rather harsh criticisms of them and wanting me to review them. I take some offense to this. The reason why I go after people is because I think they've done legitimate wrong. I don't think these gentlemen here have done anything wrong and do not deserve to be criticized as much as they have. Is it true that some of their techniques and things could be wrong? We'll find out. If you guys are enjoying the content, please like, subscribe. Trying to reach 100 subs, and yeah, let's get started. So almost all of the videos that were sent to me were from this channel called Random Hands. Now, Random Hands has had a bit of a history when it comes to internet drama and people criticizing his use, particularly of brass, I believe, on certain handles and guards and whatnot. Like, it matters if you're going to use it, sure. But if you are making stuff and you like the stuff that you're making, then I think that is completely okay. Now, getting to this, his videos are very successful, especially back when he was embroiled in these dramas. And so if we go into his videos and sort by oldest, you can see here, like, his videos are like averaging millions of views. Now, one of these videos that was sent to me was this old to gold antique hammer restoration video. Now, he says antique, which is an interesting use of the term because, quite frankly, this does not look antique to me at all. However, I cannot be the sole judge of that. It might be, it might not be. And it also depends on what you would quantify as antique. I've seen hammers, tons of them from 1950 onwards. So for me, an antique hammer would have to be from nearly, nearing 1899 backwards, really, for me. I don't think I would consider these claw hammers antique, as it were. So you guys, one of the videos that was asked to review was this antique rusty hammer video, which I will play that reaction and all subsequent parts now. This seems to have been given to me out of a bit of frustration from the community, so I'm going to look at it and give my thoughts as someone who is a hobbyist and has a bit of experience in this craft. The problem with brass that you guys will find out and that you will most likely know is if you use a hammer with a brass handle, you can say goodbye to your wrists because the shock from the hammer hitting something like that is immense, and especially if the opposing force that you're hitting is greater than what the hammer can provide, you can just say goodnight to your wrists, fingers. You are not going to be using them for the next few hours. Not a good thing to be using as a handle. Let's see this. He says antique. Now, typically when you find antiques such as this, if it is antique, you will find other antique items. The problem is nothing here looks antique. Yeah, I can already tell you this is not antique. If he would show us the inside of the tool, like in here, sometimes you can get a serial tag in here and you'd be able to track the exact date. The head of the hammer is very, and I mean very well preserved. Like, I mean, look at that. There's no bumps, there's no nothing. So when metal sort of corrodes and rusts, it doesn't all just sort of shrink at the same rate. There's a lot of little, what I almost would consider to be bubbly, like patches in it, that form when something's corroding. Parts of it corrode faster, and therefore, get removed faster. It doesn't corrode all at the same pace. This has none of that. Either this is a really well-preserved antique hammerhead, or, it's not an antique. There's nothing here. But there's actually just... I just want to also point this out. This style of hammerhead is very common in today's day and age. I'm almost 100% certain that this is not a antique of any kind. And let me show you. Hold on. Olden style claw hammers tend to have a cylindrical point coming out directly of the head. Typically, this would have been forge welded on or welded either way, or some people forged it straight, sort of enclosing comb. The other thing that is quite common on hammers that are older, a much longer bridge between the actual part that strikes the nail and the claw base itself. Much, much shorter bridge, if you will. I'm sorry. Hold on. This here is not something I would be doing. What he's going to do is he's going to actually cast this with the head in there. This ruins the temper of the head completely. Also, this brass handle is not at all going to just sit in there. He's going to have to put in like a rivet somewhere in this because it's just going to not work. I mean, as you can see here, putting a rivet in the hammer so that the brass does not slip out. Fair enough. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people were telling me that this is just the absolute pinnacle of sacrilege. I see this as nothing but a W, quite honestly. Sure, the handle's fucked. Like, you can't use this hammer, you will lose your fingers. Getting out and making something that he likes and that he and his brother have made is fine by me, you know? He's getting out, improving his craft. He's doing much more than what, you know, most other people are doing. I don't have a problem with this. I understand if you do, however. This is not a functional hammer anymore. But for a mantelpiece, good job. Looks good. I want to make this very clear. This person is clearly not English. English is not his first language, at least to my belief and from what I've seen. Quite a lot of his sentencing structure is incorrect, so I assume that he's, you know, used a Google Translator or something non too dissimilar. I kind of at this point assumed, hey, this might just be a non-video, if you will. I would go in and do some criticism, but overall there wouldn't really be anything to talk about. That was until I came across the next video. Now, he says rusted Greek sword. Press F to doubt. Who knows? The last video wasn't actually even that bad, so we'll see. Okay. This is not. So we'll search up this, okay? When were the Spartans around? 1000 BC to 146 BC. Swords from 100 BC. Even like 1400 to 1420. Look at how like just absolutely busted this is. You don't need to be a fucking neuroscientist to realize, like, hey, you know, this sword from what like 600 years ago to this, near enough 2000 fucking 100 years ago. I just don't think that you really need to waste time on this. This is very clearly not an ancient sword. Look at this. Me and my elder brother, we helped each other to make this video, and I am deeply thanks to our every single subscriber. Like, this guy is clearly not English. I don't think he's doing anything malicious. I think what he's meaning to say is that this sword didn't actually come from that era, but that, you know, he's just making it based off of what he saw online, and that this sword would have been in an ancient Greek or Spartan armory. Now, let's just go off assuming that it is real, just for the sake of the video, I guess, for some content. Wooden handle that's somehow still around. Actually, that's a good point, though. He is dressing up this video a lot as if it is a real, like, bro, what do you mean? That is more shine than my entire future, man. Guys might be right on this one, actually. He might have dressed this video up as a legit restoration, but it's just not. Okay, we're removing... For something that is ancient, shall we say, removing the handle like this is borderline treason. Oh... Oh, Captain! Oh my god. Oh, and in with the screwdriver right in the middle to... Yep, that's... Yeah, 100 grand was just lost today. And we're further breaking the probably extinct piece of wood. Oh, that's been glued with rawhide. Has it? Has it? Maybe? I don't know. I have a couple of things on this when it comes to actual antique swords. I don't think you should do this. In fact, if it is a true antique sword, I don't think you should be refining it or restoring it at all. I think you should just leave it. I do really actually kind of believe you guys now that he's dressed this video up very much as if this is a real thing, because he has acid, not vinegar. He might be saying that it is, like, he might have just actually said vinegar this time instead of acid, but just judging from the way it's not instantly freaking shearing off tons of stuff, and it's not pluming, clouding, and bubbling all over the place, I think he specifically bought vinegar for this to be like, hey... And then he uses an iron brush anyway. Okay. Yeah, you see all this, like, kind of dimpling? That is the start of the process that turns into actual proper corrosion. So this has been sitting somewhere for quite a few days. But the other thing you guys have got to remember is, for this guy who we know has a propane-based... Things that are heated up to their, you know... to the point where they no longer have any magnetism, they rust like instantly, man. You dip them into water or you get any sort of moisture on them, you're saying goodbye to that nice smooth surface. In fact, I bet you, watch this, and you can see here it's nice and clean. You can see already. Look at how orange that has gotten. Like, we're already rusting back up again. This is another thing that I would just never do if this was an antique sword. I would not be touching the temper. I would not be putting it anywhere near any source of heat. It would just be left alone. Alright. So what are we doing now? Putting a handle on it? What the fuck? What? What? Are you getting rid of that? Wait, what? This has gone from, like, restoration to customization real quick. By the way, I'm gonna say this now, because even though this has shaken my resolve just a little bit, what he's doing is not wrong, okay? We've established at this point that this is not a fucking, you know, sword from 2,000 fucking years ago, alright? He's free to make whatever he wants out of this piece of sheet metal, okay? It's a piece of fucking sheet metal. He's taken an angle grinder, he's cut from a piece of sheet metal. You can literally still see the marks where he's said to cut. Like, I'd heat it up a little bit, not enough to, like, damage anything, but I would just give it a bit of a brush. Like, and I mean with, like, a iron brush. You could brass brush this and make the whole internals here a nice gold color, but it's all scale and slag and whatnot. It's all everywhere. If he takes a bit of regular iron or steel comb and just runs it along that, you get a really nice sort of finish that I really like. What the fuck did he polish the handle for? You're not going to see it. That is not even close to the handle we saw on this before, but alright. Oh, nah, I like this look a lot. If you just... I would honestly kind of be tempted just to leave this sort of oil-scathed look. This looks really nice. Just do the blade, only the blade. Oh, that would actually look really cool. I like that a lot. He went back to using the angle grinder anyways. You can see here all of these marks. Okay. I mean, I've told you guys how I feel about this. It's just needlessly shiny. I don't like it. Alright, so he's got glue. And I'm assuming he's also going to rivet it. Now, here's the thing. There's another way to do this, and it's an old-style technique, but it's still sometimes used today in, you know, antique-esque sword makers. You have your sword end sort of more or less around here, right? So his final brass fitting would be like somewhere around here sort of thing. And then you can actually rivet inward this way, and that'll secure it in. Has he actually... So he's put 2 rivets in here as well. I don't mind it. Like, overall, this is a pretty good build. I would purchase this. I would buy it, and I think I would be happy. I'd be a little bit concerned about what the hell happened here, considering that's not actually been grinded out properly. There's a few cuts still there. Overall, it's not a bad sword, guys. Like, it's alright. Now, it was at this point that I sort of wanted to make a bit of a statement when it comes to this sort of thing. I think that by and large what he is doing is completely harmless. It is fine. He is allowed to do what he wants. I understand if you're upset, especially by that cut, but I mean, it doesn't take very long to see that it's not a real sword. It's like, when I say that this thing was not made from a billet of steel, it was made from a piece of sheet metal, probably 6mm plate, and, you know, like, I mean, it's fine. I don't hate the slit as much as people are letting on. I don't like it at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it, but I don't hate it like what everyone else is saying. This is his weapon. He can make it however he wants. I don't mind. So after we had watched that one, I was sent one more to look at, and I started to notice a bit of a pattern forming at around this time on his channel. Rusted Persian sword. We've talked about this before. These swords are not legit. This one actually comes with a hole in the tang. Why does it come with a hole in the tang? And why is that hole so perfectly circular, like it's been drilled? He incriminates himself, man. Like, you've got a perfect circle. And look, I'm not saying that you can't get a perfect circle like this through, like, doing punching and whatnot, but you don't get this. You see this very sharp, very obvious lip here? That can only be done by cutting. I'm also... Hold on. Wait. Oh, shit. So yo, the Persians were so good at combat, they didn't actually even need an edge to be able to use their weapons. I see. He's just gone ahead and cut off the end. It wouldn't fit in the bucket, so he's just gone ahead and removed what he needs to. You know what? Fair enough. Well, he doesn't say it's antique this time, so I'm not going to criticize it as harshly as I did the last one, but it is very odd how he seems to just get these swords that don't have edges or blades at all. Okay, and also after seeing this, right, I am actually more convinced that he was sold on the fact that that sword was a real sword, or he is just made, because you can very clearly see here, this is a much stronger etch and acid than what he was using before. I mean, the other thing too, guys, just actually thinking about this a little more critically, he might not even run this channel. Because during this sort of time, like 6-7 years ago, a bunch of channels started popping up that were just run by a massive overseas company that was just hiring people to essentially polish these sorts of like weapons and stuff from different cultures. Okay, he doesn't put a hole on it. This is the problem with sand casting if he did do that, but I actually don't mind these rivets. Some people will mind them, but I think that's alright. I mean, it looks alright. It looks fine. I just want to see, like, is he talking about this part being the Arabic part? Because my impression of Arabic swords is that they're usually quite thin and are designed more so for cutting rather than this sword, which is just designed for being a menace. Maybe that's... Yeah, I think he's focusing on this because this is the part that he thinks makes it Arabic, which, I mean, fair enough. He's allowed to do what he wants to do. Now, while I do disagree with a great many of the things that this man is doing to his swords and claiming that they're, you know, these antique things, I support him more than I don't. I think it's better that people go out and do this sort of stuff. And I mean, hey, if he inspires someone to go and make their own weapon or, you know, pick up blacksmithing, more power to them. It's a very simple, fun activity and it gets your pyromaniac out of you. But there are channels around on YouTube that are false and faulty and do not do what I'm assuming is blissful ignorance from this man. Let me show you. Alright, so here I have a video pulled up from Awesome Restoration. First thing that is slightly suspicious about this video, it's not a smoking gun. It's slightly suspicious. 12 million views. 161,000 likes. 4,000 comments. This does not make sense. This 4,000 comments does not make sense versus likes versus the amount of views does not make sense. This should be in the, you know, 20,000s, really. I mean, let's give me a second. Let me do something. Has 13 million views, okay? 13 million views. The other one had 12 million. 800,000 likes. 27,000 comments compared to how much are we looking at? Nearly the same amount of views. We're about 500,000 off. We've got half the likes and we've got less than a quarter of the comments. I mean, I'm not saying it's botting, but I'm also not saying it's botting, allegedly, in Minecraft. Very, very, very suspicious, okay? It's already triggering many red flags. Immediately off the bat, okay? Let's just have a look at this. Why is it caked on so heavy with all this crap? What do you mean? What do you mean, Oak? That's dirt. That's yucky right there. He's got to remove that. That's the whole point of a restoration. Okay. Since when has a gun, right, just grown in mass sitting in the dirt? You're claiming that this is all rust and metal, okay? Does the look of this or this look like it's been at all corroded? Or does it look like it's been added to? Okay, that's just the first thing, alright? Second off, this is iron, this is iron, this is iron, all of this is iron. You see how it's green and like blue? That's iron. You see how this all green, bluey sort of thing? I'm sorry, but those do not form in rust. Green, blue, and all of these other colors that you see here are formed mostly, the one that I know the best, copper. You guys, even if you guys have played Minecraft, you'll know this. The oxidization layer that gets formed from copper is this sort of prismarine-ish, greenish color, bluish, greenish color. But let's continue, let's keep going. Now, as you can see here, Colt Python 0.357 Magnum. I mean, you can't really make it any more obvious than that, can you? You can literally see where he has just, like, gone over the top of it with some shit. And just... like, that's the gun there. Look. There, down, across, there. And he's just added a bunch of shit on top of it. There are the sights. There's the hammer. Obviously, you got your trigger and your barrel. I don't know the spinny thing's called. This is just not right, okay? There's a whole load wrong with this. Now, this is another really good one, and honestly, people caught on to it pretty quickly, so you probably won't see this in this video, considering this video came out when? 2023. That was well after the sort of call-out happened, the so-called call-out. But in the older restoration videos, they would unscrew bolts from guns like this, and what would be left on the underside of the very obviously rusted bolt was a very shiny, clean, new, freshly processed screw head, which obviously is not kosher. You're a fucking loser. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's just such a fucking wanky fucking thing to have. I hate this guy. I'm sorry. No, you know what? I don't hate this guy. I don't know if I hate this guy. I might. This is fake. I'm sorry. Oh, he's been caught. There it is, ladies and germs, the smoking gun. Let's see that again in slow motion. Yeah, there it is. And it comes out, and he tries to hide it. Look at how shiny clean that is. So hopefully you guys did find this video at least somewhat interesting. Again, no shade to any of the creators who are involved. I get it. You got to do what you got to do in order to make a living. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going to go do some editing and get this video out to you guys. But hopefully you have enjoyed, as I said. Hit like, subscribe. Hopefully I got most things right. If there are any blacksmiths out there who want to add to this video, you guys have full permission to react to my content. Anyway, catch you guys later. See ya.